Hey everybody, it's Bus, and jumping in here with some not expeditions. You can jump onto the game client here. We're used to just clicking this button that says expeditions on it. There's apparently another one up here called Verse Player, where you build your own deck beforehand, and you can only play three of a particular card. It's pretty fucking strange if you ask me. But we have to kind of figure out what we're gonna do with the channel going forth, and I can't really bring myself to leave Runeterra. I've been having too much fun with it. I've kind of dabbled with some Hearthstone over the past few days, and I just can't bring myself to leave Runeterra. It's like you fire up the Hearthstone and you try to start playing some games, and it's like, where's my spell mana at? You mean I have to just pass on these turns without using my mana? This is bonkers. But no, I haven't exactly figured out what I plan to do with the future. Kind of my issue with Constructed is the decks get kind of old, right? No one wants to watch me play Ari Kennan like day after day after day. But if you're in like the ultra competitive mode, there's only like five or six decks that ever really matter, and I don't plan to jump into kind of like ultra competitive. As we've kind of said through these things, I like to stick in that space as to where if we could help you jump from silver to gold or gold to platinum, even platinum to diamond, that's fine. But I don't really feel like the space to help people get like super technical and jump from diamond to masters is really the space where I want to belong. There's plenty of people out there doing that kind of thing. You can go hang out with them if you will. And so, yeah, I plan to stick to constructed once expedition's gone. I do still intend to get up to 500 expedition videos. We have until May to do it, so we have plenty of time to get that underway. But once expeditions are gone, I intend to mostly do constructed, but then as things kind of wind down between each of the sets, I'll probably branch out and look at some other things. I was actually really interested in Hearthstone duels. It looks like that's going to be a pretty fun kind of format. That I feel like Hearthstone duels is what Expedition really wants to be, and it seems like it's something that would fit so well into Runeterra to where you get to kind of craft half of a deck built around like a certain champion and a certain set of skills, and then the deck grows as the trial continues, and then like the various like items that you see throughout Path of Champions being able to attach to your deck as you can in Hearthstone duels. It's something I'm most certainly going to explore and probably make videos for in kind of the Runeterra constructed downtime. But as it stands for the foreseeable future, until we at least get up to 500 expeditions, I'll be bouncing back and forth between expedition and constructed. And so today, the new cards are live. We're going to be out here battling with Udyr. And if you jump back to our times in expedition, this is one of the decks that we used to really kind of heavily draft. I felt like this was one of the really kind of stronger ways to deal with Noxus, and then by extension Noxus Sejuani. And so if we would end up with one of these decks, kind of like maining Sejuani typically, but oftentimes with Darius, whatever. It just always turned into an Overwhelms deck. And these Overwhelms are still, quite good. We have the big powerhouse in Captain Farron, the ever so cheaper bro in Kato the Arm, and then we have the other specials in Fallen Reckoner, the new guy in Tusk Speaker, Ruthless Raider, as our big overwhelm package. And then, as we always talked about in Expedition, loving to have one of these decisive maneuvers. This plays, fantastically here as well, as we get to just basically end the game in a single combat. And then to kind of tie everything together, the way that you would classically level up Sejuani in Expedition was with these overwhelms. It gets a little bit easier these days with cards like the Tusk Speaker, but this is, also pointing straight into just playing Udyr. I'm not convinced that Udyr would just be better or worse. We need to give it a little bit more of a shot, but better or worse in terms of just rather being Sejuani or rather being Darius. But he does, seem reasonably strong here. He should be fairly easy to level up. The overwhelms all help level him up, and then we have everyone's favorite fun package from Noxus, the Imperial Demolitionist Legion Grenadier. And so I think this should be, a pretty reasonable collection of cards. I got in a few test games and was pretty happy with this. And let's go ahead and jump on in. The ranked queue is disabled. We've gotten into this too soon since the new cards came out, and so no ranked for us today, but it should still be fine. Get everyone out here battling and brewing with the new cards. We can see how many times we get to run into the all elusives. if you're looking to shoot up the ladder, this is the time to do it, and you can. Pick on everyone playing their suboptimal lists out here. But with these, we got to find some early stuff. I'm happy enough to hang on to the Ancient Yeti, let him get cheaper, and it shouldn't be too challenging for us to find a 2-drop here, which we've managed to find about 1,000 of. And then as far as the way these cards go with the sequencing we like, ideally, we're going to be attacking with our Overwhelms, right? So we'll try and lead off here with the Tusk Speaker, lead off with Ruthless Raider, and then defensively we would rather be using Legion Grenadier. Like ideally our units just wouldn't die in combat, but if they're going to have to, that's the kind of sequencing we want, right? If we're making a trade like this, we want to ensure that we deal damage to our opponent, so we'll attack with the Overwhelm, try to use the Grenadiers on blocking duty. There's the Troll Chant. That's what really brings a lot of these combats together. We play the Grenadier. Not blocking now. We can most certainly get a 2-for-1 with the Troll Chant next turn. Well, there goes that idea. We'll still probably get a 2-for-1 facing against Bandle City, but we'll see. The whole Yordle package here between Gnar and Ziggs. Oh, wrong one. we should have played the one he's seen before, but I think this will be okay. Still a pretty strong sequence that we can drop all of these units. We have the Troll Chant here. We can easily play 2 units next turn. Then we have the no block bro rolling around on turn 5. Looks pretty good. One of the things I did notice in my practice games and with Troll Chant, you got to kind of watch yourself against Formidable, right? As you're bound to run against the Galio style decks over the next few days, giving your opponent's Formidable unit -2 attack, probably not the strongest thing you could do. Probably not. We'll see. I had to like think super hard as I tried to get that together. All right, so we can get a little bit bigger than him. He's going to grow next turn, which is slightly awkward. This is one of these spaces where decisive maneuvers would be incredibly strong, but we don't have too much we can do in terms of punching through this. Let's see if we play this like a little slow, if we can get him to attack with this Conchologist, right? This is a fairly juicy looking board in terms of Conchologist blocks. He decides not to do it. I think we still want to chunk. Well, this is a tough one, right? We're definitely going to be wider than him. But if we want to take down this dude in combat, then we have to get a block in here. I think we just have to eat the damage. And then just accept our width. We can block it next turn. Accept our width, opponent. It sounds overtly sexual. All right, Yeoidas. Here's Udyr. How close are you to flipping? Not as close as one would like. But you can come down and chunk some Overwhelms on some stuff. Should hopefully be fairly useful. Okay. We'll get him to 10. Pretty close. Pretty close. Is he gonna have the pokey stick? Damn. That's a bit more problematic. We're building up to Captain Farron, which should be just a game ender, but we're a turn short on the mana, right? If we were playing Captain Farron this turn and then decimating next turn, I think we would just smash him, but that's not where we're at here. Fall to 1, probably just dead. Alright. Go ahead and throw down the can't block before he gets a more relevant unit out. Is this dude gonna flip? Okay, we're just dead. He done boomed us good. Oh, here we go. Hopefully got the deck tracker back up. I noticed it wasn't up there that game, but this technology tends to be beyond what I'm capable of using. There we go. Oh my god, we did it. What do we got here? Galio Soraka? Alright, my dude. I like what you're about. Let's see. I mean, that seems like a pretty reasonable start. These Omen Hawks aren't wanting to turn up today, but other than that, starting to punch in. Alright, Star Shepherd. We're just gonna get boomed in these combats, you can tell. Incoming. God, where did it go? Oh no. LOR Guardian's here to save the day. That's the one I just tried to close. Alright, we'll try to use that one for the time being. I just knew LOR Guardian was going to be a problem because things like Udyr tend to just not work. So I didn't have super high expectations for that being our tracker. I'm like trying to get myself switched over to Mobalytics, but it doesn't always agree with our loading. So, I mean, at least LOR Guardian loads. I don't know. I don't know why it's so hard. But we'll be retiring the old LOR Guardian as time goes on as well. Ultimately, a little sad to see the LOR Guardian go, but kind of is what it is. Alright, let's see how this plays out. It's likely just poorly, but we do get to keep the boosted unit and take down his, so at least forces them to play a unit now if they want to get the Soraka to reheal. But I don't think that's a turn where we can just be like, it's a troll chant. Yeah, it's like, that just doesn't do anything. We'd be better off just not attacking at that stage, and that seems even worse. What? Yeah, I thought she had to be supporting for that to work. Okay, I'll take the bait. Maybe he just didn't know. Astral Protection, that's fine. We still get to deal like bunches of damage to her, so her blocks next turn are much worse. Alright, then I don't think Udyr's like where we're at right now. I think we need to just be opening here. And then following up with him. Oh, never mind. My bad, dog. LOL. Sometimes that's all it takes. Just a little bit of booming them and it gets it done.
Maybe those other guys. Whatever.
All right, on to the next one. So yeah, I'm gonna have to like learn to pause myself when pushing these queues. I don't get to talk about all the sweet stuff that we normally did as we waited on the Poro bot. as we're out here jumping into these games, they load too fast. But up here against lurkers, this is another one where we want to kind of carry the sequencing to where you tend to be the control deck every time and try to just block everything that they play, and so I want to try and get our overwhelms on the offensive while we have our things like Legion Grenadier to block with. Curious, he can't lurk into us, right? So the Ruthless Raider should be pretty safe here. He doesn't have any way to deal additional damage to it, unless he's going to hit with a like a combat trick. Good start. All right. Here comes the Grenadier, ready to do that blocking thing. That just ends the game, right? We're just done here. Say move it right on to the next one. just keep playing on curve. I think this is going to be it. I think we're looking pretty good here. Snapjaw Swarm. are we playing Expedition? Is this what it is? Just seeing this thing come down, ruining everyone's day. All right, we're looking pretty good. We've got him down to 6. This is assuredly almost over. Oh, incoming Pike. How much does he deal? 4? I don't know how much I approve of that. Let's be real, it's okay. It just kind of sucks to lose the overwhelm here.
It's Draven time.
Alright, so he's going to get boosted as well. Not a big deal, we can just eat this damage. No, I don't want to eat all of that. Kind of hoping we get to stay wider than him. I mean, we can still fight through Pike with the... Oh, that was a Rek'Sai. Never mind. Okay.
When my song ends, men die.
Then, I mean, lurkers don't have anything to just stop this, right? There's nothing to stop us from, say, attacking with everything. He can't block them all, and then just getting a whirling death on whatever blocks the Tusk Speaker. Just boom him like that. That's how you do it. Man, I'm just wondering if we're if we're ever even going to get the chance to play Udyr. I don't know. Maybe this is why Sejuani is just frequently better, but we'll see. We're going to get those bare hands going at some point. This is nice. One of the downsides to Expedition was I would always run into it to where the weekly chest doesn't like spawn until the following day, and so if I wanted to try and draft and put together an Expedition video with the new cards, I just had to get really lucky, or I had to wait 20 minutes over and over again. But if you're jumping into Constructed, you just kind of get to pick and choose whatever you want to play with. It's not that bad. Not that bad. Man, we got all the Legion Grenadiers. What's this dude doing playing Gnar? Like, I kind of want to save our Overwhelm unit. Like, when opponent plays Conchologist here, I think I would rather just trade off the Grenadier and then maybe get in a big punch later with the Brothers Bond.
Wondrous discoveries await below. Persistence is key.
All right.
This lives on.
Just close LR Guardian. This is so ridiculous. Like, these things don't go to the taskbar. They don't have like things if you hit Control F or Control Shift Escape like normal programs. I don't know how the fuck you're actually supposed to close these things. You open them up on Overwolf with this stupid little dock. It just doesn't do anything. It's like, man, it would be cool if I could right click plus close like normal programs. Like, everything's like this. It's fucking absurd. But let me just get my ranting out of the way real quick and call it a day. Now with this, it is like possible we shouldn't be playing Dravens here, right? If we want to drop a Brothers Bond next turn, we can't do so if we play Draven now. But I think this is still okay. Like, I'm pretty content with playing like a Grenadier Imperial Demolitionist, and then have the Spinning Axe if we need to try and win something. But it should be like tough for opponent to get a win here. We don't have like the overwhelm quantity I'd want for these cards anyways. This card's Rising Spell Force.
Coming in hot.
Not a good place for us to be in. He's much better at this whole trading game than we are. Really need the Brothers Bonds. I'm curious if we shouldn't Or not Brothers Bond, need the Troll Chance. I'm curious if we shouldn't just be playing like Brittle Steel as we run into all this Bandle City.
Easy does it.
Sure. Extra cards, we'll take them. A little late to the party, Ancient Yeti. We're gonna have to have to pay full price for you. Ugh, this guy can't block. All right, we can threaten a trade onto the Sump Dredger, but I feel like we're probably just too far behind this game. We need to get like a big board and a decisive maneuvers, and we can't just be sitting around trading. But like that was a sequence of cards to where just sitting around trading is really kind of the only thing you can do. Like we're never gonna like decisive maneuvers into a big play with our 3/2s with no overwhelm. It's pretty tempting just to take this one, but just don't feel like it's gonna work. Well, like that's the downside, right? If we don't, let's just take it. He's gonna flip to Mega Gnar, right? I wanted to be able to get this point of damage off of the thing. He's going to flip to Mega Gnar anyways. But this was ultimately like my big concern with Gnar and like Expedition. You can really kind of like pick and choose what you want to do with Gnar and Constructed. Like you can more easily decide when you want to hit your opponent's Nexus and flip. But he's got this on the wrong sides, right? He really wants to be attacking with the Mega Gnar and then having the, I don't know, regular Gnar on defense. And that's not what he's really lined up to do here. Holy shit, that was frightening. My wife opened the garage door, like I sit on top of the garage as that animation was happening. And I was like, "Wow, the fuck is the floor shaking? This is absurd." But I'm okay. I'm okay. Everything's fine now. But, I mean, we might still be in fairly decent space here. Bandle Tree, not exactly what he's trying to do. Gnar's going to flip back. We get this decent attack here. I mean, I wonder if we want to just attack with both. Are we willing to discard a Ruthless Raider to get Gnar? Like, especially now that he spent all of his mana? I think that's okay. There's no way he blocks with Gnar. I wonder if we should have actually Brothers Bonded beforehand. Oh. Fuck. Takes him to 8. That definitely gets us in kind of kill range, depending on what we draw. We have these 2 big overwhelms on board, and now he's in the space to where, you know, he could play another Gnar, he can play some more dudes, but it takes a lot of mana to kind of recover back through that. Okay. There's Udyr. He says, "What up?" He flipped? Not yet. All right, give me some of them juicy bear hands. Oh shit, he just has to block. You can't. Oh, you arrived valiantly, Udyr. You can still maybe give him an overwhelm or something. We don't die to Pokestick, which is the big thing here. Oh, we got the strike in, so it goes back to costing 0. It's pretty cool. Maybe we should have played it now that he could just like re-prank us. How bad is it if this gets pranked? It costs 2 more. That could be kind of painful. Everything we have already has overwhelm. I give him them bear hands. Fuck yeah, bare hands Udyr coming at it. Alright. Alright. What do we got? Whirling Death? Oh, that's huge. That's huge. We might have just won. If he just plays a dude here and we get to Whirling Death, whatever blocks the Reckoner, then we can do it. Maybe we should have... It's like we can just open, but a lot of times these people play dumb shit like stress defense. I guess we don't beat a stress defense either way, but... Heads up, bruh. We got a Whirling Death. No. Oh, my God. I guess he was going to have it either way. Fuck. Alright. It's surprising he's blocking with Gnar. We'll take him down if we can. Nope. Oh, he's got the Whirling Deaths. How the fuck does he have this? Oh, that's what he hit with our Black Market Merchant? He hit one of, like, the 2 relevant cards? Okay. Alright. Okay. Yeah, this is going okay. We haven't pieced together one of these, like, overwhelmed draws yet. We haven't drawn a Decisive Maneuvers. I'm pretty sure we don't want 3 Decisive Maneuvers, though. It's kind of the same deal that you see in Expedition, to where if you draw 2, it's usually pretty terrible. And Galio Soraka Part 2. Are we are we just gonna get him with the get him with our 1 card? Whatever. So you can't block. GG. You can see these are the hands where the Decisive Maneuvers just looks much better, right? If you're able to stun down a blocker and just boost everyone else. Feels pretty good. These spaces are so bad. I think it's okay if we just pass. Let's like at least get ourselves set up to where we can have the mana. Cool, he's gonna go ahead and do the work for us. Perfect. That seems like a premier space for opponent just to pass it back to us and let this Noxus deck bank on the mana. And we got our choice spells ready to go. Uh-oh, this is going to be lame. I can already tell. He's going to give it a bunch of bonus health. Gives it 0-3. So if we Troll Chant... Oh, see, this is that choice space to where the Troll Chant just isn't good enough. I think we still want a Brother's Bond. But... yeah, this would be kind of fun if our units had quick attack. If you get to like quick attack their health down super low before they get to do anything with it. It could be interesting. Alright, but we have to be a little careful here. We gotta protect our dudes. This just like completely advertises that we have Troll Chant, right? That was fairly brutal with him getting his units up to 5. Okay, let's just pass. He can do whatever he's going to do, and then we'll come back to playing units. Why are we so low? I guess we didn't block on turn 2, but man, our health is so low. Alright, dude can't block. Here comes Galio. All these. What is Percolite? Petricite Broadwing. Percolite. What's a Percolite? Is that a thing? He brings in the single combat. Can't approve. Alright, so we'll give our dude 2 health. And we can give this thing -2 attack. That's not going to do anything. But we at least get some... Oh, fuck. He's got more cards. That's brutal. Alright, everything about that was just awful. We could still be, like, okay. Like, he's going to hit us for, like, 3 that nobody cares about. And we get to shut off another one of his units from blocking. So I think that, at least on that angle, it's okay. Udyr's nowhere near flipping, unfortunately. We're actually just lethal if he doesn't have any more units. I mean, he's probably going to have more units, but let's see if he drops like a... Galio costs 7, right? Heal an ally to full and then strike something. That's fucking annoying. Okay. Oh no, that was the flip side. Ooh, that was not the best thing we've done so far. That was not the best. There's the Galio. Yep. We're just kind of hosed now. We can make the 6/6 Udyr, which is kind of nice, but we're just dead to his open if that's the way we go about it.
Remember the objective.
Sure. Man, that was brutal. I felt like we played that one so nicely, but it's just having Troll Chant be so bad is quite painful. I'm not used to this space to where it's like I don't like Brothers Bond and then Troll Chant just not being any good. And it's like their tricks were just able to put us like 1 out of reach. Right, Zed Lee Sin. Curious what's coming out of this with the Targon. Targon does have the new cards. Like, there's no Yuumi here, but they do have the things to pass out, like elusives and double strikes and stuff. And so, curious that that's where he's going with it. Our first Omen Hawk of the day. Welcome, friend. You used to be so popular. Not anymore, but... This is odd not having a 2. We're playing like 16 2-drops. Right? We got 1, 2, 3, 4. 3 times 4, 12. We're not playing Magic here, we're playing this other game. Magic's the one where having 4 of them would be 16.
Hey, buddy, what you doing?
Okay. Alright, so that minor problem has been removed. The new question here is, do we want to actually play the Ancient Yeti, or are we just going to open so that we can try and protect Draven? And I think we just want to open, right? We're not in any hurry to get our opponent killed here. So let's just swing with the Draven, get the Spinning Axe going. If we need to play a combat trick, we can do it. And then if opponent just ends up passing to us, we can follow up with the Yeti. I like it. Ready for battle, Zed. You get your gems now. Oof. That was a draw in the face of Zed. He only has 1 gem for this Lee Sin. Okay. Lee Sin's definitely going to be challenging something here, but I don't think it's ultra scary.
My lands need. Prepare yourself.
So, like, what 1-mana combat tricks would they even be playing here? And if he had one, wouldn't he be attacking with Zed? Right? I feel like that's a pretty fair question. There's no tricks in Targon. There's just the one out of just the one trick out of whatever this other faction is, Ionia, which people usually don't play. It's just like if he gives I guess at the end of the day, I'm looking to say like double spinning axe my Draven and then whirling Deathly Sin. And I guess at the end of the day, if he does pick up a barrier, then it's not like horrible. We still get tons of we get like tons of spinning axes out of this. I think we discard the Brothers Bond. Our units should be big enough here, and we're going to pick up more axes. Right, should be safe. Yeah, get them flips. What are you, the showstopper? It's Draven time? What are we supposed to be saying here? Maybe it'll be Kato time here while it's Draven time. Not just yet. Alright, let's keep adding dudes to the board. It should be pretty tough for him to interact through this troll chant when we have a ton of stats on him and stuff. I think we're looking pretty strong here.
My spirit, not my fist.
Do we want to bring the technically lethal attack with the Omen Hawk? We might need it to block Zed or something next turn. I think we can be a little conservative here with how far ahead we are. If we had the Brothers Bond in hand, then we'd probably bring it in. Like, I bet we're really close to lethal with the Brothers Bond here. Okay. So yeah, the only thing I would have to worry about here is if he has some kind of weird, elusive double strike play or something. Like, I did learn in some playing you can't attach multiple things to the same unit. I thought that was going to be pretty sweet, putting like both the elusive hook, the elusive attach, and the double strike attach onto something. But that's just not how the game works, and so didn't get to have that much fun. It was okay. All right, we could look to say like block the Mentor of the Stones with Draven. It's just like that's like reeks of being dangerous. We'll stop here. You shouldn't have ways to pass out overwhelmed as Zed, so I'm not super scared. Alright, here's our squad, ready for battle. Ready to bring the open. Hopefully we aren't dealing with a dealing with a barrier lifesteal. Cool. Got him.
Damn, I'm good.
Alright. This I'm used to just like here comes the screen, where's the trade pick at? Give me some trade picks out here. That's what I'm used to. But man, how things change. Yeah, but that was wild. Like I asked people to kind of give me some give me a heads up as to what you would recommend we look into if we're not going to play Runeterra, and I appreciate all the feedback. It's like I looked at some of it. I really just kind of like the fantasy settings. Like growing up playing Magic and being like of age when like Lord of the Rings movies were the big thing. I always just
Let me show you what
more so enjoyed the fantasy things. I played tons of Warhammer Fantasy when I was a kid, and that's just kind of like my preferred setting. And it's not like entirely fantasy here in Runeterra, but it's pretty close. And like whenever I go and look at like Shadowverse, I just never really got into like the whole Final Fantasy looking anime kind of theme. And so I was okay to kind of skip away from that. And then, after you leave there, it just kind of like, I'm not opposed to playing like Eternal, but it kind of looks like it's on the way out. And it's really just kind of, scary as we start playing a game from one of the big studios, and then they just kind of like ace a game mode. Like, that was ultimately pretty frightening to me. And so when it's like I start to look at things like Eternal, or look at I don't know, I guess Artifact's still a game or whatever, it's ultimately kind of scary in those terms as to like, is this really going to go the way of the Elder Scrolls, right? So I was a little worried about trying to jump in on those. And so yeah, that really kind of brought me back into, it's like, well, I can play Magic. I just played Magic, and I didn't really have the same love for it as I used to. And then Hearthstone, I don't want to just play Constructed, and so it leaves it with either Arena, which seems like it's in a pretty decent space, or Duels, which I was actually pretty interested in. Or 3-4, right? And so at the end of the day, I did just kind of lean on. It's like, well, I'll stick to Runeterra. I really love the IP. I really like the game here. So I mean, if we got to play Constructed, apparently that's what we got to do. But I think it'll turn out okay. It'll just take me a bit of time to get adjusted. Opponent's not playing any cards. 6 mana. Is he gonna Harsh Winds us? We have the Troll Chant to fight through Harsh Winds. I don't think it's terrible. I don't want to just give them like the free Scar Ground on with the Omen Hawk though. Yeah, seeing those decisive maneuvers in here, she's like, let me tell you guys, we don't want to play Shunpo, but we will. We don't want to play Intimidating Roar, but we will. We want it to be decisive maneuvers. But you gotta make sure you don't have 2 of these cards. It's like exactly how this deck landed. That's wild.
Let's get a good look at you.
This is gonna be like a double Flash Freeze. That's fine as well. But Flash Freeze is a burst. It wouldn't come out here and just sit. It's gonna be Whirling Deaths. Whirling Death makes sense. Ice Shard, okay. How much dumb stuff does this thing do? Kills all of his units. All of ours survive. Let's just Troll Chant down here in the middle section. That's going to look better, right? Now all of his units die and ours don't die. Okay, much better. I think he has another Ice Shard incoming, right? He put 2 cards out here in the middle, but Transfusion, that's fine. So at the end of the day, he's going to have his 1 big boy. We're going to have 2 units. That looks good. Taking so much damage from these Disciples, though. Alright, we just need to make it to our next turn and we should be alright.
Pain is nothing.
Sejuani is a little scary. Can we do like a Brothers Bond? Because like it's awkward because we can't block with the Reckoner. We can like Brothers Bond, Whirling Death with a Spinning Axe. I guess that's what gets us there. We're just gonna lose our Draven. We don't have to just lose our Draven. We can just lose our Grenadier. All right. At least like this, it is unfortunate if we run into like a Brittle Steel, but we at least don't just get annihilated. We get this awkward moment to where we can't get our guy down. At least we have like lethal in our attackers, but it's like there's a good chance we just get hit with a Brittle Steel or something here. But it's like we needed to pick up a cheap play if we wanted to drop our can't block on something. Like if we hit a 2-drop and the Reckoner, this would have been good, but we drew an expensive bro, so good chance we just like die to Sejuani now. Udyr here, ready to get his flip in. We gotta play Udyr just to look at that animation. What's his flip even do?
Fight for your lives. You own what you take.
Oh, interesting. He goes for the Yeti, so we're not gonna die here. Check it. I'm whelmed. I'm whelmed with the quality of Udyr's flip.
It's my time.
It's pretty tempting. Well, I mean, I guess we probably just like have to block Sejuani, but since if we block Sejuani with Udyr, he does at least flip or make the stance cost 0, which is what I think we're looking to do here. We can flip the stance, or we can put the +2 an overwhelm stance onto the Demolitionist, and then we still have the Fallen Reckoner for next turn to make Sejuani a no block. We should just be able to end the game next turn, regardless of what shenanigans he's bringing. All right, he gets the strike. We get the stance swap on the cheap. How bad's this going to be? This has me worried. Okay. This isn't only like this turn, right? This isn't just going to go away. It is slow, though. So let's go ahead and play it. Oh, man, we didn't kill this dumb Blade Squire. Okay. Oh my gosh. So he takes us to 1 with 1 card in hand. I mean, I think we just have to open. We can beat like a Whirling Death. If he has like any kind of like Ice Shard, if he has his 3rd Ice Shard, then he's just going to win the game. But yeah, Nox and Fervor, nothing we could do about that. Fuck. Damn. We'd have to like cycle back to that Ancient Yeti turn. I mean, we could have still added the Reckoner to the board for just like no block value, but I'm trying to think of what else like even ends the game there. It's like it has to be Ice Shard. If he didn't have any units on board, so he couldn't be playing like Nox and Fervors or anything. It's just literally the Ice Shard was it. Damn. I guess we should have known better. We should have known that he had one, right? Because he did take that turn where he tried to play like 2 of them in the same turn, and then he pulled the 1 back. There's just like, well, I guess on that turn he could have like realistically had a Nox and Fervor though. Alright, Yumi, here we go. What do we got here? Let's hang on to this Draven and look for some 2s. Alright, we did it. We found him. Ancient Yeti coming out here for the funds. He says, "Don't worry, dog. I come down on turn 4."
When my song ends, men die.
Let's see. If he plays like the Conchologist here, I don't think I want to attack with the Tusk Speaker since we have all of these Demolitionists in hand. But I guess also like the side point is we have Draven and we don't have any of our combat tricks. So I think this is okay to just offer up a trade. Oh, he doesn't even take it. Interesting. Interesting, I tell you. Oh, he brings it back at us. And he's playing Yumi Nar. I thought... So he's willing to like pass on transforms? Okay, fine. If we can keep him from doing what his deck wants to be doing, I think this is okay. Just unfortunate we don't have tricks out of this one. Yeah, I don't quite understand his sequencing. Like, what if he was going to, like, why he didn't block last turn? If he was, huh, weird. So we're coming in for the damages. This kind of go tall thing does not play well against Fallen Reckoners. Blocks are smaller when interesting. It's much easier to deal 2 damage here. Oh, he has the pokey stick. Okay. Sure. Alright, so we take him to 10. Getting close. We're getting close. How do we find this dumb Yumi here? How do you work? I'm attached. The unit I'm attached to is attacked 3 times. Okay, the game will probably be over at that point. He switches out Yumi and puts in the other thing. He just learned that you can't attach 2 units. he just learned it. I did the exact same thing, my bro. I did it. Alright, let's get big. I'd ideally pick up a 2-drop and place a Draven, but didn't happen. I think we want to just get the Overwhelms. We can at least start with the Ancient Yeti, because this is what we're playing 100% of the time, and then we can decide if we want to. I mean, I guess technically we could try to just go for like a double Whirling Death here, but that feels a little sketchy.
For me, the spirit dance.
First Fae you play costs 2 less, and I think this counts as the turn you play it. That was wrong. That was wrong. Okay. That's not that bad. Glad we don't have to play against this dum-dum in Expedition now. We got a lethal here if this is how he's gonna block with the Whirling Death. Still there. We can. I mean, it's pretty tempting to still just go ahead and Whirling Death to get this lantern off of the board. We'll be like a damage short of winning, but I think I still like this. And it's not like a guarantee that we're going to get the kill on this unit here, but we should get to chunk in some extra damage. And if he does play a trick, then you know, that's mana that's not putting units down. I think this is okay. Especially given that we can still like play a Draven next turn and have access to more Whirling Deaths. So his unit still dies? Does that even do anything? He takes less damage like that, sure, but his unit's gone. Okay. Works for me. Gotta remember this thing has ephemeral. That's it's just so usually so irrelevant with this guy. Game's usually just done before he comes down. We got the decisive maneuvers. Alright, I think we're good here. What are all these things? Nexus Strike, draw a spell that costs 3 or less. Okay. How much is this? 5, 8, 10, 13? So we have to do something here. But all he has is a Yumi and 1 card. Boomed him. You're good, Draven, you're good. Alright, I think we'll get in 2 more games here, and we'll call it a day. See how this goes. So I've been like kind of okay with this, man. So did like Mogwire Swim post a Soraka Galio deck? It's like everyone's playing Soraka Galio today. But yeah, like I was gonna say, like one of the things that I've like always been decent at, like everyone that you know hangs around the channel just knows of me from Expedition and playing Limited, but historically I've always just played Constructed. Been much better at constructed formats than limited formats across my my gaming career. And the thing that I was actually like really strong at constructed and playing Magic was like not nearly enough people looked at Magic as playing 75 card decks. Everyone looked at it as like the 60 card deck, and then this shitty collection of stuff I put in my sideboard. I've got my Disenchants and my Leyline of the Voids, and that's what I'm going to call it a day. I got a Wrath of God, something to kill an enchantment, something to kill a graveyard, and I've put forth the work required to win my upcoming tournament, and that was just abysmally terrible. And the thing I was always pretty good at was putting together the. We still have to attack into the Soraka. Putting together that last remaining 20 cards. So like the 5 cards to really tune out the deck, and then the sideboard, and having a really strong sideboard strategy. And so hopefully we can kind of like tune that here as we jump into the Lands of Runeterra. At least with this deck in particular. I'll talk about it a little bit more in the end, but there's a handful of things I don't like about it. So we can certainly improve. Oh man, he surrenders. I was like, we're gonna boom this guy so hard, just like we did that previous one. Maybe we'll get in 2 more games since that one didn't last too long. But that was gonna be nice with the Yeti and then dropping the Reckoner. Okay, yeah, let's get in 2 more and we'll call it. But it's wild to me now that sideboards aren't even a thing for a lot of a lot of Magic. I know for the most part I was just dabbling with best of 1, which is interesting and fascinating to me. I thought it was just much more convenient because it can be challenging for me to piece together like strings of an hour of time. But the best of 1 I thought was a nice addition. At least something Magic has done right in the digital space. All right, interesting. I was planning on maybe just opening and banking the 2 mana for this Brothers Bond, but now that we've picked up the big boy here, it should be tough for them to interact with the 4/3. Not a ton of 3 attack units. Like he can play a like the 3/1 that gives barrier to something, but I don't think that's a common card coming out of these. These things are annoying. Given the way these past games have gone, I feel like we need to just slam into this. And then this is kind of interesting, right? In terms of his unit can only deal 2 damage now, so he needs another card if he wants to send his unit into the Tusk Speaker.
I'm ready to play, knock over some cups.
It's got a card, but I think that's still like kind of okay. Let's pass and see what happens. I mean, he just has like the 1 mana for a trick. He's not being super scary here. Alright, then this has to be a Brothers Bond turn.
You're covered.
Oh, I guess it doesn't have to be anymore. It was supposed to be.
War Mason, reporting for duty.
Where's our Udyr at? You're ready to come down, aren't you, Udyr? You want to get them strikes in? Interesting. So we get to attack now. I should say we can attack. So if we like swing in, like just attack with the Tusk Speaker, He just blocks it with Bright Steel Protector. If we attack with both, he probably just gets to switch, and then he puts the Brothers Bond. Doesn't do anything here either. Let's just pass on that one. I don't like that this Yumi's out here growing, but I don't like that attack. That feels pretty bad. He didn't. I wonder if he knew. I guess that's one that could appear to be intentional, as giving this guy quick attack is pretty good. But I'm curious if this is another guy that intended to have his unit stay gigantic.
Your path ends here.
Okay.
The way still. Spirits of the land, hear my call.
We give Udyr quick attack? How nice! How nice would that be? Oh, this thing's huge now. Swaps out the quick attack back to Yuumi. Does she remember how many? No. Okay. The attached unit has attacked 0 times with Yuumi. I think we just want to go ahead and grow our Udyr.
The wind waits for none.
And then we're just going to open next turn. Like, it's scary, but we need something to go right here. And taking down this unit would be kind of nice. Ooh, Kato. It's like if we Kato, we can't play any combat tricks, though. What if, like, the problem that we're running into is, like, we can't, like, get wide enough here. I feel like if we make this attack, he might just let it happen. And we can fight through it a little bit. But I think kind of like the good thing for us here is he may choose to just like take the damage, and then we get the opportunity to get kind of wide. But we need something positive to happen here. Here's a sharp side. Okay, we can still drop Brothers Bond. If he's got... oh no, hang on, that's just a problem. It's not like the end of the world. Because we did chunk down a ton of this thing's health, so it's only... it'll be challenging for 4 next turn. And we picked up a stance. We are so far away from lethal, though. That was odd. That was not how I expected that one to sequence out. I was just like focusing in on the thing being like a 7 or an 8 or whatever it was, and then the Troll Chant being 2, and then the Brothers Bond being 2, and then they didn't quite sequence quite well enough together. I mathed that one poorly, but it's so wild how terrible Troll Chant is against this deck. It's so bad against the Formidables. And I can't remember if like Frostbites just don't work with them, right? Frostbite sets their power to 0, but they still just deal their toughness. Pretty sure I'm right on that. But like here, in terms of lethaling, like where do we stand? Assume we're just not going to play any cards here. He's going to attack. After the attack, we get to start playing stuff. Yeah, that's great. Now we do have to worry about the likes of a. Kato's the efficient one, but we have to worry about the likes of a rally. Like if he just has a barrier rally here, we're just dead. But there's no way we can beat that. Like that's what's kind of suspect here. Like he could have slow played this and put like the quick attack onto Fiora. He probably has another unit in his hand. I have to think that he like probably has a barrier in here, but it's not a lot we have to get around this. And so I'm just gonna go all in with everything. I don't think there's any like slow play that we can make to potentially get around that. Give Kato the Overwhelm. Next turn we can. This is 9, right? You can at least play the Ancient Yeti and the Brothers Bond. And then this is the just hope they don't have anything phase of life. You know? was a juicy draw. So, like, we're presenting Letho now, right? If he has a single combat to take down Kato, then we're really struggling. But if all he has is, like, units and bad combat tricks, then we can maybe pull something off here. That's not ideal. But he's tapped out. The Fiora block onto the Demolitionist was probably better for him, but we get to kill both of his units this way. Overwhelmed for that point of damage. Alright, still in it. But right, you can see how big that could have potentially been if we had the Kato. But now we just gotta keep passing. See if he decides to hook our Demolitionist. I'll just take the damage if he doesn't. Okay. And then we'll play all of our units here. If we pick up like a second Fallen Reckoner, we pick up an Icy Yeti, we want to be able to play it next turn. Can't play. Don't play the Reckoner though. This bro has got Ephemeral. Night game. Ooh, Whirling Death. Kind of interesting. Now he can play like a unit. We could Whirling Death the unit down and get all of our Overwhelm damage in. We got a shot. If you're going to Whirling Death here, do it with the Ancient Yeti, though. Your Ephemeral will die. Yeah, they're just straight up neg. Hit him to the 0. Oh, just playing sharp sights. This is good. This is good. See that color and it's like, oh fuck, he just got spell shielded. But nice, we got him. That's the good stuff there.
All me. And maybe those other guys. Whatever.
All right, our last one. I'll have to figure out how to see. I've had like ridiculous trouble with like you see all these deck trackers open. There's 2 of them. I have to deal with it every time, but it doesn't like to record in the tracker. So it's like I'm curious to see what the win rate stuff is. You can see LOR Guardian not recognizing how to do it. I'll have to stop after these games and see how we did and see where this stacked up. But again, this is where I kind of think we'll push. Like I don't want to spend all of our time just playing the top meta decks. I think there's still quite a bit to learn. Even if you aren't playing Ari Kennen or playing Poppy Elusives or whatever. And then, but I also do want to kind of find that space to where I want to have a day of the week where we're playing, you know, that kind of top tier deck. I would like to have a day where we're just playing the gauntlet for the week, and then kind of figure it out from that point forward. I haven't ideally figured it all out, but got to kind of see how things flow. But I certainly know that as we do have to come switch over to Constructed, I don't really have any desire to just play a bunch of Path of Champions. Like, it really blows my mind with Path of Champions. Well, it doesn't blow my mind. I get the concept. If it's going to be a casual format, it can like feel bad if there's this mountain you have to climb that you can't achieve, right? If you're a completionist and you want to finish everything off, and you can't beat Ascension 20 of Slay the Spire, then that's kind of a feels bad moment. And so I get it, in that you play through with the champions, you lose, but it still feels like you're progressing and improving as you lose, and then you eventually beat the champion, and if you're less than stellar at the game, then you might need to get the full level 20 of upgrades to beat that champion. But the mountain, it's kind of a downhill climb, and instead of everything being uphill. But that's just not the kind of thing I'm particularly interested in. So, the long story short off of that rate, I don't intend to play Path of Champions. I will stick to constructed for a bit, but I can't like do constructed content over and over again for for ages, and so you likely will see me branch out into. I'm really looking at Hearthstone duels as kind of my backup game for the moment whenever things get boring here. I still won't jump into the auto battlers. I love playing them, but I have this like really challenging thing in life as to where every game is ultra competitive, and if I don't like plant the flag right at the beginning that this is going to be a casual game, then it's just like all bets are off. And I feel like if I start making videos with the auto battlers, fuck, I knew that something was going to happen with this this Funsmith. I guess it's not terrible, right? It just doesn't kill our Yeti, but no, with the auto battlers, I got to keep that as my casual space. Okay, well, this Funsmith was certainly annoying, but if all this stuff is going at our units and it's not hitting our face and his stuff, he's not like able to AoE us down, and that feels fairly positive. And actually, like, block kill the Crackshock Corsair if we want. It doesn't seem great. We're just getting to this space now where we have the 3 overwhelms in our hand, and then we have the decisive maneuvers.
This land is ours.
Would like to see them spend some mana. Citrus Courier, that's some mana. I don't know if we'll have to ask for that one back. No, this is fine. I think we've got this one. It's a little scary playing these units that deal damage to us, but gives us good blockers against these dum-dums. We can still throw Omen Hawk in front of his 4/5. I think this is all okay. You can't block, but you can. Okay. So there's still a chance we get burnt out next turn, but if he doesn't have 2 burn spells in hand, then we'll just win. I think we should probably leave this Tusk Speaker back. He's at 13 though? Fuck. Okay. Now we die to like a single get excited. We can get around things like, he's not playing Aftershock, right? But we can get around all the slow spells because the game is just going to come down to this attack. But I don't think it ever we ever survive if we don't get, or we don't. I don't think we can punch in enough damage if we don't play this last Tusk Speaker. Okay. We don't have anything in our deck. He can draw a Troll Chant. I didn't see how neg he's getting here. Neg 8, that's not going to do it. I think we did it, fam. Took it down in our last battle. He did draw the Troll Chant. So that should take him to neg 4. There it is. Nice. So yeah, fun little set of games. Let me pull it up and see if we can get a win rate, and then we'll talk about this deck a little bit more before we send you all on your way. So let's see here. Okay, there we go. I finally found a way to get it pulled up. It says that we went 8-3 with this one, and so not a bad little collection. I know I am kind of in the dregs of MMR because we just play Expedition all the time, and so we'll have to take the time to climb up to the old masters as people do these days. But it was reasonable. I think in terms of this deck, if we look at say like the Draven and then all of the units down to like Ancient Yeti, and then I was pretty happy with it, right? I don't think we got into a game to where we had the mana to play Captain Farron. Maybe we would be happy with just like 1 copy instead of 2. But he didn't seem like he really had a good place here. And I think if we took these Udyrs and swapped them out for either Sejuani or Darius, then we could just more happily just cut the Captain Farrons. And then if these 3 Udyrs become Darius, you take out the Captain Farrons, you can just probably turn them into Kato the Arms and be pretty happy with it. But I was pretty like not impressed with Udyr here. It was kind of nice having the The things that I was kind of considering we'd be able to do with him would be ideally just to generate that overwhelm fist, bear fist, or whatever the overwhelm one is called, and then you can take the overwhelm and put that onto Draven or onto Kato or onto Legion Grenadier, and then you have multiple angles of getting in overwhelm damage. Right, the problem you'll run into with this is like that game we lost to Bandle City where. We're playing a bunch of Legion Grenadiers, and then our opponent's playing Conchologists, and they're just getting super far ahead of us in cards, and we aren't dealing enough damage to make up for that loss. And so the way to try and combat that would be giving our non-overwhelm units overwhelm, and the idea was maybe we could use these Udyr strikes to do that with, and it was just like way too much to pull him off. And so I could see there being a world to where he's in more of like a mid-rangey strike-based deck. Maybe if you're playing Whirling Deaths and you're playing the thing that lets a 5-attack unit strike something, or if you're paired up with Shurima and playing with like Siphoning Strikes and the like, maybe you could do something that way. But this deck here in particular, I just definitely did not want Udyr. And so it seems like it's in kind of the space to where he would be okay. Right, you have the Demolitionist, the Legion Grenadier, all going to face. You have all the Overwhelm units, but there was just like never a space to where you could get these things going with him. And so it's like I keep looking at these cards and I'm just like, I wonder what happens if you put the double strike attach on him. If we get a double striking Udyr, then that could really be amping things up. But yeah, in this deck here in particular, I think. Probably like 75% of the time you would just want Darius, and then the remaining 25% of the time you'd probably be better served with Sejuani. Sejuani is a lot more interesting though. Again, now that we have access to this Tusk Speaker, right? With Sejuani and Gangplank, we would kind of run into the problem as to where, okay, well, it's obvious how I deal damage to you on my turn. It's with a Overwhelm unit. How do I deal damage to you on your turn? And historically, the cards and Noxus Freylord were just terrible at that, right? You would have to play something like Blade's Edge. You'd have to play the various AoEs, which just come in and kill off your own units. Or if you have, say, like the 2/3 that strikes your opponent, or if the 2/3 that survives damage deals damage to your opponent, like you have a lot of like really situationally challenging things to pull off. To where now with the addition of Tusk Speaker, you can just play it on your opponent's turn. And so having things like Tusk Speaker, and then like a block with the Grenadier, and then the Imperial Demolitionist, it makes it seem realistic that if we are on the odd attack tokens, we can probably hit with a flip Sejuani at some point. Maybe it's easier with the evens since we play so many 2-drops, but I just kind of envision that space to where we play the Tusk Speaker, deal the damage, and then that's the end of the ticks for Sejuani. But she's probably closer now, right? I think in the past you would just want that 10 attack overwhelm from Draven or from Darius, but she might be a reasonable flip now. Or if you're trying to go like all in on Sejuani, the card I was considering here with this style of deck was the 1-drop, the 2 cost, the 1 mana 2 attack thing that deals damage to your opponent when it attacks. And that is how you could start leveling these things up on turn 1, or in the terms of Udyr, you could get 2 tick-ups on the first turn, and so he could be flipped much more quickly. But like even with his flip though, right, his flip was giving him +1/+1 for every bear thing you played. We didn't have a single game to where we played more than 1 stance swap. And so I'm not exactly sure where the complete build around for Udyr is, because this was much more challenging than I expected to pull off. And so I mean, it's tough in these terms as to where you've damaged the enemy nexus 7 times, but that's like pretty close to just getting your opponent dead, right? I guess he can kind of pair up with Gnar and use pokey sticks and impacts, but a lot of times it just feels like if he's that close, then you've probably just won the game anyways. And so yeah, in terms of this deck, I think the things I would like to do would be switch the Udyrs for either Darius or Sejuani, take out the Captain Farron's, likely for Kato the Arm, but again, it might be more correct to play that one of the more aggressive 1-drops. I have to just kind of see how the meta shakes out. And then the only other thing here that was like fairly awkward to me was this like Troll Chant. I think if you're playing a deck like this over the next few days, like the next week, where everyone is out here trying to play Formidable and figure Formidable out, Troll Chant is just is going to be kind of miserable, right? I don't know why it keeps flashing on the screen, but that we're just going to find so many times, I think, to where this is just like a 2-mana elixir of iron, and so it's probably not a good time for Troll Chant. But as people kind of let things die down and the meta mellows out and people aren't as amped about playing with the new cards, then it'll probably go back to being pretty strong, right? It's extremely good against Bandle City, and that's kind of the boogeyman of the format. It's extremely good against just any kind of like board width based deck, and you could see in a lot of these matchups to where the supremely good curve was just nothing on one, a dude on two, a 2-drop on two, and then attacking with both. And if you pull off that Troll Chant on turn 3 to where you get the 2-for-1 and empty out your opponent's board, you've probably won that game like 90% of the time. And so it still certainly has a place in here. I don't think you would ever realistically want to cut it, but you do need to kind of like temper your expectations over the next week because it's going to be pretty bad against Formidable. But not a bad day for us. That was a fun little set of games. Hope everyone has kind of enjoyed the new format. Again, I'll kind of piece together how we're going to do this in the future. I would like to have kind of a specific day for everything, and so a specific day to make a gauntlet video, a specific day to make a try-hard kind of video, a specific day to make maybe a viewer's choice kind of thing, and then probably spend a couple of days doing other things. I can't I don't think I can realistically fill 7 days of consecutively of constructed based content. There's people that can, people that do. I know like Mogwai does that. I'm pretty sure like Bay does it. It's just not really my wheelhouse yet. I'll have to kind of build up to that and see what we can do there. But nonetheless, I had fun with this one. It's weird making your own deck. I don't know why anyone would want to do that, but we did it here and had a pretty good time today. And so that is going to do it for us. I hope you all learned how to decisively maneuver your Udyrs a little bit better. Maybe learned a thing or two along the way and had a good time watching. This is Bust, and we thank you for being here.